Hi, everyone. Today we are talking about something interesting. It's communities, and this is part of our series of how-to series of webinars where we will take a detailed look at how to utilize technology to bring more value to the stakeholders in the event process. My name is Tanya Pinchuk. I am CEO and co-founder of ExpoPlatform, and here together with me is Daniel Mortimer. Hi, Dan. How are you? Dan is our regional director, and Dan is from exhibition industry himself. And at ExpoPlatform, he works with key clients such as Informal Markets, Winexposio, Messe Frankfurt, Fair Trade Messe, and others. So today we are going to talk about communities, and we will try to address the biggest challenges and concerns the event organizer might have when thinking about communities. And we will try to speak about how technology can address these challenges and can help. So before we start, may I ask you to answer our first question? We will have several questions in our poll today. So the first one is about where you are in dealing with communities. And there are several options to answer this question. I hope that one of them will fit your situation. So I'm thinking about organizing the community, or I am already running one. I organize a 365 online community. I don't know where to start. Maybe some of you don't know where to start, or maybe some of you don't think that this is the right choice for your audience. So please answer this question, and we will come back to results later. And I would like to start our discussion today. And first of all, we will speak about the importance of the technology for communities and how organizers see this. So this is the survey that we run in the beginning of this year, and a majority of the organizers, 63%, answered or picked community nurturing as the biggest opportunity for event technology to develop in 2023. So having this in mind, that this is one of the important topics and trends right now, we should also think about what thoughts and challenges event organizers might have when thinking about running the community. And we speak with event organizers on a constant basis. With some of them, we run communities and events already. Some of them are thinking to start one. And what we hear, one of the top thoughts is around content. Will I have enough content to nurture my community? Another one is concern is, so I already have the community. Should I actually do anything extra for my audience? And the other one is around concern of still having the live show that they run, that you run as organizers, as the main highlight in the year. And Dan, I would like to ask you to walk us through how this 365 experience can help to address one of these concerns, and how engagement is changing throughout the year if we have both community platform that is available online 365 days per year, and different events during the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, just to start off, a bit of background on myself. So I used to work in the events industry. I was working for 10 years as an event director before I joined ExpoPlatform. So this is something that's actually very relevant to me and has been very interesting for me since joining ExpoPlatform. One of the things that I always used to notice as an event director, and our marketing team were very conscious of as well, is during the period of the event, so before the event, during and after, the search trend was very much towards the event. But as soon as that event finished, in the 9 or 10 months either side, you would just see very flat lines, not a lot of people talking about the event, not a lot of information, and your community really dispersing and going elsewhere. The idea of creating a community or creating engagement outside of that is to utilize what you've already gathered through your suppliers and your buyers and engaging them throughout the year. If they've already bought into the brand, so it's about continuing that outside of that period. And by using the community, there are multiple different ways you can do that. Obviously, through content is one of them, and we'll go into other ways that you can do through this seminar as well. But it just allows that engagement to be more consistent. And as you can see in this image here, the events will always be the biggest focal point for that, and that's not something that will detract from what you're doing as your primary focus, but it will allow you to engage your audience in a bigger way. And that can also help for launching new events. So if you want to do virtual events, hybrid events, these kind of things as well, it will allow those people to be more aware of what you're putting into the market as well. So it's a great opportunity for monetization, but also as engagement throughout that year as well.
Thank you, Dan. Speaking about challenges that organizers might face when they start running the community or even like planning the community, we run this survey together with MPI in March this year, and we asked organizers what are the challenges that they see in organizing the community. The majority of organizers answered that the need to provide year-round content is the biggest challenge, but along with the content, we still need to have someone who will be responsible within the team for running the community, and to have at least one person or a group of people who will work with technology, with the audience, with content is important. But if we think about the content, the biggest ways to add events that we are talking about now is something that we need to recycle, and it's carpet of food waste. But maybe the biggest one is actually content, because live shows, they generate lots of content during all the days of the show, even if it's an exhibition, not exactly like pure conference. There are lots of sessions that are happening during the day or all the days, and physically it's impossible to visit all sessions. And also people want to have even like if they spend the whole length of the event 3-4 days there, they still need to have some time to meet suppliers, sponsors, have some one-to-one meetings, or just to dedicate some time to wander around and have some serendipity moment there. So if we think about the sessions that can be recorded, also access to top speakers that visited this event and can also participate in online life of the community, exhibitors and influencers, industry experts, and how they can participate in crowdsourcing of this content for community. This question becomes less stressful, and the content is already there. It has to be recycled. And in this in mind, if we think about main pillars of organizing the community, running the community, content maybe plays the main role, but there is more. There not just content hub to engage audience. Dan, can you talk us through what else which is important?
Yeah, absolutely. So here at ExpoPlatform, we work with a number of different organizers to deliver their community, and I speak to organizers quite on a regular basis. What we find is there are 3 core reasons to deliver a community, or 3 core areas that drive engagement through a community. Those are the 3 C's, so content, connections, and commerce. Content, obviously, we just spoken about a little bit there in terms of, you know, the content that you create from your event can be on demand on the community, but also there's a wealth of content that can be created either by your team or equally by your stakeholders of the event. So whether that be your sponsors or other people at the event who can create the content to keep the engagement happening throughout the year. So all the pressure doesn't necessarily have to be put onto the organizers to do that. It can be community created. Connections is obviously a significant part of that. Events are all about connections. It's about face-to-face meetings, but there is also an opportunity to do that in a digital environment as well. So what we do is we create an environment where people can network with one another, either, especially in a B2B environment. That's all about what people are looking for essentially is that networking opportunity to create business connections. And so that's what we offer. So either that's through person to person, or that's person to company, or you can even do person to object. People can connect with one another and find out more information. That can also happen through AI matchmaking. You can run that through actual events as well. So you can run meeting events, whether that's networking events or speed networking or hosted buyer events, can all be managed through the platform itself. So you can always creating those new connections and driving people through the platform to create that engagement. And thirdly, the last piece is commerce. Now, exhibitions are essentially commerce. That's what people attend for. They're looking to see the new products available and meet with the people behind them. There's no reason why that can't continue online as well. Your exhibitors always have a place that they can showcase themselves as a business, but also the products that they're offering, and able to meet and discuss with people about those different details. Buyers can then access this data, see what is available, and then speak to the relevant suppliers where need be. We also have functions such as RFPs, request for solutions as well, where they can quickly request multiple different companies for a certain tender they're looking for. So an engagement of these three is probably how we'd suggest the communities to run. Sometimes they'll focus more on one than another, or potentially two or three at a time. But yeah, these tend to be the main areas for community that we see.
So all three of them will be important. I am wondering, I would like to ask our audience one more question. And for those who are joining us from your mobile phone, there is a link in the comments where you will be able to click and answer this question. Which of these three C's, content, connections, or commerce, do you think will bring the biggest value to your community? I guess combination of three of them will be very important, but just pick one of them as you think. And we have one more question. Could you please also let us know, what do you think is the main criterion you will pay attention to when you measure success of the community? Is it reach? Is it like how many people you have, but also what is the quality of these people? How many sub segments of your industry is presented? Then revenue that you can generate from your community, engagement, how engaged people with everything that is going on, how active they are, leads that suppliers can get from interactions on community platform, beyond at show leads, and conversion, how community members convert into event attendees and vice versa, or something else. All of them, I guess, is important, but just pick one that you think is the top one. Thank you. So I would like to give you one example of the community that we run together with, we provide technology for Comexposium. They organize Vinexposium community and events. Vinexposium is community for wine producers, distributors, scientists, wine enthusiasts, and both of these aspects are important for them. Content Hub, they have very rich content hub with news articles, with articles generated by their suppliers, wine producers, experts. Also online webinars that they run in between of their events. They organize a series of events during the year, and these events are local events that are taking place in different countries of the world, with the main event in Paris. And marketplace is the second aspect that is very important for them. So they showcase, they allow their suppliers to showcase their wine, their brands, their products, and in this way engage the audience to be able to continue discussion at the live show. We spoke about metrics that organizer can apply when measure the success of the community. Then Can you walk us through one of them, which is revenue? How organizer can generate revenue from the
Yeah. Absolutely. So revenue is obviously always a driving force behind many decisions for organizers, but it goes without saying why. But a community is an excellent opportunity to engage some of the digital revenue that potentially some organizers aren't yet utilizing to its maximum effect. Events, obviously, there are a significant number of revenue opportunities, but in communities, we would say there's potentially even more. And the reason for that is because it opens up many different avenues that potentially an event wouldn't offer. So things like sponsored articles or running webinars that we've already spoken about, listings and so on. There's different ways in which you can engage your audience either through single payment or through multi-year payment that will allow you to increase revenue, and really you can start to get into passive income, which is I guess a goal for a lot of organizers, where you can just yearly be able to receive income without having to actively go back to the company each year. And one of the ways we do that is through the next slide is here, is going through a tiered system. So what you can do is you can create a tiered system which creates more of a permissions opportunity for your suppliers. So what they can do is they can either select a lower tier, which gives them less permissions, less visibility across the platform. It would reduce the amount of messages they can send, for example, or the amount of products they can display, or it can limit even what kind of people they can see. So if you've got VIPs or seniors on the platform, for example, the lower tier can't see those if that's something to create. And then people, when you go up the permission scale, you start to be able to receive more benefits from that. And obviously the higher the tier, the more that they would subscribe to the platform for, and the more benefits they'll get from that. And so that's when you can start to get that yearly revenue from the platform and start to tier that to your suppliers. And you can actually do something quite similar for the buyers as well, which we'll touch on a bit later.
Yeah, and member subscription is something that we will show to you today. This is the way how members can subscribe, and it can be free of charge, or some minimum amount of money that will be visible for their member. But we are talking about volume here, because we are talking about the whole industry that can become your part of your community, and numbers can be very significant. All of these are just examples, and in every unique case, it's important to look at specifics and tailor-made make this offer. So Dan, I would like to speak a little bit before we go to the demonstration of the platform, and to give some idea on how it can look like for the end user. Could you please explain how events that already are being organized by the event organizer, or it can be just one event or several events, how they are connected with community platform in terms of the data. Talk us through this single ecosystem. What is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that just gives a big advantage to both the organizer and to the end user about how they move around your ecosystem, and how you are then able to utilize the data. So this is the way that we've created the platform to work. So essentially, as you can see here, we've built a single ecosystem that allows for the 365 community to be the central pillar of that. In this particular example, there are 3 events which are all circulating the 365 community. And the benefit of that is twofold. Firstly, to the exhibitor. So if you're an exhibitor who's got a profile within the 365 community, you create a very rich environment for your company. You've got a full profile about your company. You've got products that you've built. You've got team members that you've added. Now, if you decide to exhibit at event 2, for example, instead of having to go into event 2 and starting again and completing all that detail again, that information can simply be turned on, so that you don't have to go through that administrative process, and that everything is remaining the same. The same as your profiles, you remain the same passwords, and everything keeps inside that environment. It's the same for users as well. Their profile within the 365 community, if they decide to register for event 1 or event 2, they simply go through the registration form. It will pick up they've got a previous registration registration and complete the majority of the information for them, and they'll be able to log in once that's complete. So it's just creating a much easier process for people to be able to continually register to various different events and products that you're creating as an organizer, and also keep people within your same ecosystem with that single identity, single sign-on, which is really the goal, to be able to maintain a much smoother process, which I think a lot of organizers are looking to obtain. And then from the organizer's perspective, it gives you a lot more control over the data as well. You can really track where people are going, what they're doing, who's looking at what, and so on, because you've got that all within one single data platform. As you can see there, everything is based on the same on the same identity, so you can track what events they're going to. That's all tracked within the single data platform to your systems as well. So if you've got APIs with your CRM, for example, that's pulling through from there, and then that will then go back to the 365, which you can see we've created a bit of a different experience to the event. So there's unique modules and unique experiences which are community only. So things like the editorial content hub, the on-demand webinars, the community groups, and the RFPs, which are very unique to the community experience, but keeps it within that same single ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. We speak about community as it's not just event that is happening 365 days or forever. It's something that is different from the event experience, but on the same single data platform. And everything on the community platform starts with member subscription. So could you please tell us a little bit about how member or how organizer can create member subscription and packages, and how potential members can subscribe?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that we are working on and will be released onto the platform very soon. Something we're very excited about because, as I said, it creates an opportunity to start looking at the passive income, which really makes an exciting opportunity for organizers to create this community and to build it from the ground up. So what we're looking at here is how you can create membership plans for your buyers or your attendees of the platform. What you can do is you can create scaled membership options, which base again on permissions for those users, depending on which scale you want to use, what pricing you want to use, and what permissions are available to them. You can select exactly how you want that to be set up. So obviously the higher up the scale they go, the more permissions they receive, the more options they receive within that. So whether that's the amount of webinars they can watch, the amount of people that they can message, the amount of options available to them, maybe even interacting with VIPs, for example. And then all that data is then available for you to track within your analytics. You can see exactly how that's performing, where you're getting these bookings from, and what marketing is performing best to get people back onto the platform. And then on the front end, if I'm a user, this is how I will see the platform. So I can, when I first access it, I can see the different membership plans that are available. Obviously, you don't have to have a membership plan. You can have people access for free if you want to. This can be more of a premium function if you want to. It doesn't have to be paid only. And then once they've selected that, they can then go through and use our registration module. They complete all the registration details to become a member of the platform. They then select which membership package they like and go through and pay for that directly, and that money then gets transferred directly to the organizer. Once in the platform and when they're navigating, they can see within their profile the exact package that they've got booked already. They can then select if they want to upgrade, for example. If they think maybe they need to upgrade to a different package, they can do that directly through the platform and move to either a higher or potentially even lower, if they want to, package at any given time. Yeah, so something we're very excited about. It's moving definitely in the direction of more of a membership scheme, which allows you both your suppliers and your buyers to experience more from the platform if you as the organizer want them to.
Yeah, Dan, thank you. So everything starts with a member subscription, but not necessarily, right? So some people can just browse a community platform and start to be interested and only then subscribe. So can you show us how this experience of someone who just Googled some relevant keywords, and then the community platform was shown, and they enter what they might see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, by all means, I mean, that's a very good point, Tanya. With the membership, with the membership options, you don't necessarily have to have people always paid. There is always an element of people being able to access the content, some of the content for free, or be able to navigate the page for free. So this is an example of a community page that we have built. This is a demo site. So in terms of the 3 C's of the community, we've got each one turned on, so you can see exactly how that would look and exactly how that would feel within the platform. This, as I said, is a demo site. It gives you an example of what it could look like. We've also got the Vinexposium site here, which you can see is a different example. It's also built using our website builder. You can see they've gone for a very different look and feel, but it just shows you that it can be quite flexible in terms of how you design it and what you think is the most important thing for your market or your users, that will get the most traction at the early stage. But if I jump back into this, a few different things to show you. So first of all, the RFP. So the RFP is what I mentioned earlier, where buyers can send out a request for proposal very quickly to a number of suppliers within the platform. So if I click on that and open that up, what that does, first of all, it picks out the interest categories. They're my interest categories that I would have selected when registering. So it automatically says to me, these are the areas that I think you're interested in. I can either search for different categories if I need them, or if these are correct, I can add and remove them as need be. It will then go through to the next stage. This will then show me the suppliers that are relevant to those particular categories that I selected. If there are any companies here that I don't think are relevant for my particular request, I can remove those from there and then jump into the next step where I can put together a particular order for that. So for example, if I'm putting in what my budget is, what my deadline is, where I want it delivered to, and then I can send that request. And then this request will then be sent out to all of those suppliers in one go. And those suppliers will have 48 hours to respond to me. So the benefit of that, obviously, as a buyer, it's very simple for me to send out requests very quickly, but also for your buyers or your suppliers, sorry, on the platform, the amount of requests they will get will go up exponentially, because it's maybe they would never have received that request in the first place had they not been aware to that particular buyer, and it just improves that experience between the two. A similar experience for a request for sample, something that you can do if you're linking with events. You can have the sample sent to the event if you've got a sample-based event. Marketplace is the next area that I'll jump into. So obviously a marketplace being an exhibition community, typically it will always be fairly similar in terms of having companies that are wanting to showcase their means to buyers. In this example here, you can see we've got multiple exhibitors that are here. You can see different sponsorship options, whether they're from the banner sites, which is fixed, or you've got sponsors, which is that tiered example I was talking about earlier. And throughout the platform, what we do is we always offer the chance for people to send either meeting requests, they can directly message companies, or you can favorite them to view them at a later date. If, for example, I wanted to meet with a company, I could click on the meeting button here. This will take me through to the meeting request, and then I can complete the meeting information. It will send that to the relevant team member, and we can book a time in the diary to meet, and that will be directly on the platform as well. So it will be a video meeting that will take place on the platform, with the most relevant person within that team. And as a buyer, I can complete all the information about exactly what product I'm looking for, exactly why I want to meet, and then they can accept or reject that meeting if they want to. And actually, what we also offer is the chance for a direct online meeting. So if both team members are online at the same time, you can have an instant meeting and jump into a video call that very second. So that's also an option for people to do. Outside of here, we also have, actually, just quickly before I go to that, I'll just show you, we also have the products as well. So obviously, if it's an event where you have products, typically most events do, exhibitors can upload products to the platform, and then this can be searched through in a very similar way. So I can look for different products that are interesting to me, that can be filtered. I can search for products as well. That can all happen through here. So in the Vinexposium example, obviously they have hundreds of thousands of wines. People can search through the wines. They can either do that by the search, or they can do that by the AI matchmaking, depending on how the user wants to find that information. On the seminars side, so there's two types of seminars I'll quickly show you. Firstly is the organizer-led seminars. So these would be an example of webinars that the organizer is putting together, that they're running, that can be run live on the platform. So that can be a mixture of any kind of talks. They can be then added to the person's diary. You've got countdown timers, you've got sponsors that can be listed, as well as who's speaking at that particular event. You can also then have on-demand sessions. So as Tanya was saying, all of the content from your event can be hosted here. All previous webinars can be listed here, and this can be behind the paywall or behind the registration wall. So people have to register to access them and see all this different information, and you can keep it live on the website for people to access. The other version, which relatively new to the platform but has been really, really well received so far, is member sessions. So how this works is this is your supplier-led content, which is really important because essentially it allows you to take some of the pressure off the organizer to not have to constantly be creating the content, but it is a great way for you to put through their thought leadership, whether that's from a supplier or maybe one of the thought leaders within the event, and they can actually run that through the platform as well. And it's obviously a very good monetization opportunity. This is something I highly recommend that you only allow for sponsorship, so people have to pay to access this, because it's a very powerful message to send out to your audience. But they can put this through the platform. People can then add this to their schedule, and then they can attend these much like they would do any one of your organizer-led summits.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. So many ways, as we have just seen, many ways how to engage audience. I would like to ask you about more unique experience, maybe. So if we're talking about community, we can imagine the universe of members of the industry, and there can be like tens or hundreds of thousands of people. So if we're talking about big numbers, it's very difficult to provide content that will be interesting for them. With our matchmaking algorithm, we can suggest some pieces of content, but is there any other way how organizer can provide this more unique content for some sub audiences, sub communities?
Yeah, absolutely. There is, and so what we've developed and released on the platform is the group. So if I just jump back into the demo quickly, you can see here that we've created a group feature. This is very similar to how a LinkedIn or a Facebook groups would work, and essentially it is a micro community. So all events have particular subject matter that is quite unique. Not all would be relevant to it, but it still fits within your wider event message. And how you can do that is you can create these unique groups for that. These groups can either be public or private or even invisible, so they can be very private if you want them to be. And they offer the chance for people to be able to network, communicate, share content, and so on. So if we jump into one, I'll quickly show you how that looks. This has a very similar look and feel to how you'd expect a LinkedIn group or other communication groups to work. So you've got an event wall here. So this is somewhere where the users of the group can share information, share content. Others can then like, comment, and share on there as well. So you're engaging with one another through that. You can also add sessions through here and on-demand sessions through here as well as adding sponsors. And you can have the admin as well. The admin can be either an organizer admin, or you can actually have a user-based admin as well, so that they can be driving forward the conversation within these groups and kind of putting it back onto the community to create that. And then obviously within there you can see all of the members as well. So I can see all of the people that are relevant to this particular subject matter and engage with them directly through here, and not have to then try and pick out from the larger event who would be more relevant to me. Yeah, so a really great way to kind of bring down the scale of the community into a smaller micro community that people can network and share content within.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. There is one more piece of functionality that it's worth to speak about today, and this can be very, very much relevant for associations. And speaking with associations, we hear that there is a request for continued professional development, e-learning, where organizers can gather sessions in programs and offer this as the educational program to their members. So, Dan, could you please tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, absolutely. And just on the CPD point to begin with, I mean, this is something that, you know, not only associations, but obviously also exhibition organizers seem to, especially more educational events, tend to be interested in CPD. So that if that can translate to a community, it can be nothing but a good thing. So yeah, very excited about this release. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about how that looks and how that works within the platform. So firstly, we're going to see how it works for an organizer, so how they create the program. So the idea being here is that you can create a very bespoke program that is suited to the needs of your end users. So you can select exactly who the participants and what participant category that would be relevant to, what the dates are, so when you can start and when you can finish that by, and then exactly what different sessions would go into that as well. So you can create an extremely bespoke, detailed outline of this is exactly what is required to meet your CPD requirements in that. So in this particular example, you can see they've selected 4 sessions. The amount of points allocated to each particular session can be added to that as well. And then you can go through and then select a certificate upon completion that you can create for that particular user once they've gone through. So you can see here, you can select the name, job title, and so on to give the congratulations to whoever it is that has completed that particular program at that particular time. So this is something that, as Tanya said, is association based, because it's very important that they have that learning and that people need that constant learning throughout their program. But other events as well can benefit from having CPD allocated to their platform, and having people be able to come onto your platform, be able to attribute points to being a part of your community. So if we jump onto the front end now, you can see here exactly how that would look. So I'm logged in. I can see the different available programs to me, to my category of visitor. I can see exactly what is involved in that, what I would need to complete it, and then the certificate that I would receive at the end of it had I completed it. If that is of interest to me, then I can click subscribe. That will then be added to my program, and I will then be able to complete that within the allocated or required time. They can then jump into the particular session. So for example, they can see here that there are 4 or 5 levels to this particular program, and what's required of them, the points that are allocated to it, and so on. Clicking into the sessions, joining the rooms, and then watching through the actual sessions themselves. Once each session is then complete, once they go through and complete each session, that will be completed within the platform. It will give them the allocation or congratulations that they've completed it and the points that are allocated. And then only once they've gone through and completed each one of those sessions will that completion be sent to them, and them actually completed that particular development program. Now, from the organizer's perspective as well, they can also track exactly who's doing that. You can track the analytics and the data and everything from that as well, which we'll touch on now.
And also, one more important thing is that system will track if the session was abandoned and the points will not be granted. So in this way, organizer will be able to know actually if they watched the video, if they went through the session or not. Thank you, Dan. I would like to move to the final question about analytics. So what data is available and how we can analyze engagement, acquisition, etc. What is available for the organizer?
Yeah, so there's a number of different ways in which we can engage with the analytics part of the platform, or how organizers can engage with the analytics part. So this screen here shows you exactly what the information that you can derive. So you can see how the members are participating within the platform. You can also understand exactly how the actual members were acquired as well, which is really important to understand, what marketing efforts were most successful, who was attending the platform, and where they came from. And that's also especially important if you're working on a community and event structure, which we talked about earlier. Then within the actual platform itself, you can understand how the content is being consumed, what content is performing well, what content is maybe not performing to quite the expectation, and who from your visitors is actually viewing that. So what categories of visitors and how that's performing over time as well. So looking at the community as a whole, where are your peaks and troughs, and how you can maybe flatten that out or improve that as a whole. And also who your most active members are. So what are they engaging in? Why are they being the most? Why are they the most engaged? And potentially then you can also start to use gamification opportunities as well. So to encouraging people to be more engaged across the platform, and utilizing that as much as possible. And by using all of these tools and analytics, really trying to delve into exactly what is working, and try to gain the most out of it. Because ultimately that will then come back to usage, and then usage obviously means monetization opportunities as well. So they all go hand in hand.
Yeah, experience at live events can be improved using the data collected during the year, and vice versa. It's important. Thank you, Dan. I would like to move to our survey results, and see what we've got today. So what answers we have for 3 questions that we asked in the beginning of the webinar. So first was about where our audience is in terms of dealing with the community, and the majority, the top answer is I don't know where to start. So this is why, and we know this problem. And speaking with event organizers, this is the first actually question they ask. We don't know where to start. We don't know how to create the right infrastructure for the audience, because it's a relatively new topic, and this is why when we speak with the organizers, we share the experience that we have and try to find the right way. And hopefully today we answered some of the questions. The next one, so connections, maybe a little surprise here for me. Not content, but connections is the top, the most important pillar for organizing the community.
Interesting.
It's
that is interesting.
Yeah. So after the live show, business continue to run, and a good question to the organizer is: do you participate in these business connections? And maybe connecting, as our industry is about connections, and organizers want to continue providing this platform for connections, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, one thing interesting I'd like to point out. So I don't know where to start is a really interesting piece. And I'd say one thing I've definitely learned from either the working on the event side to now working here is there is definitely not one size fits all to this. It's that each event, each community is very different. There's also a very different reason as to why a community will work within that, and it's important to understand that completely before starting. So I think it's very important to make that clear that it's something that needs communication. I would obviously be very keen to discuss with people about what that looks like or how to help, and if we can help, because it's a few different metrics can really help in terms of growing the community from the get-go. But if those things are misaligned potentially, then it can be a bit tricky. So yeah, it's a completely fair point.
Yeah, and actually the third question results a bit answer the importance of connection. So the best way to measure community success, according to our audience today, is engagement. And the second place is leads, providing leads to sponsors, suppliers, and these two are connected. So we use content to engage audience, but why we are doing so? Because we want to connect businesses, and this is the main KPI for any event, for any organizer.
Yeah. And engagement is the key to everything, though, isn't it? You know, the more people engage, the more leads that the sponsors have, the more and the more engagement then leads to potential revenue. So I guess it is always going to be the pinnacle, isn't it? If people are engaging, that means you've got a happy audience and you've got a fulfilled community. So it makes a lot of sense that that's the top for me.
That's why sometimes when we discuss with the organizers, we hear, I don't want to charge them straight away. And I want to provide some values and engage audience, and then maybe introduce some membership fee. So this is the right maybe order to think about how you will engage, and then how you will be able to connect if you have right tools on board to connect people and monetize all this process. Thank you very much for participation in these polls. It's very interesting to know what you think, what organizers think about this. And I would like to finish with something that we've just launched. It's a new ebook. So we updated our community ebook. We made an extra focus on association requests. So what associations need when they run the community. So it's upgraded, updated. Please download and go through this ebook and ask us if you have any question. Please ask us. Reach out to me and Dan on LinkedIn. We are happy to get in touch. If you think about the community, we are happy to share our experience and case studies that we have, and try to create something unique for your particular audience, for your industry. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Discuss this very interesting topic, I think, and I hope that we we managed to bring something new for our audience. Thank you very much for participation, everyone, and let's be in touch.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you.